All right, welcome back, Refitters. So in our last episode, we started assembling the saucer. We put on the saucer edges. We put on the not the rec deck window, the officer's lounge window, and we started getting our impulse engine ready. And it's out in the paint booth. I painted the interior white on that as well. So I'm going to glue that on soon. But what I've started to do is work on the rec deck windows. The rec deck windows, the kit part is just a clear part that goes in here. There's no separation between the windows. So what I've done is use the photo etch part to go in here. Now, the way to install this was an idea I got from Boyd at Trekworks. He puts a piece of masking tape over where the rec deck windows go. You cut the windows out of the photo etch fret. You have to be extremely careful removing the bumps on them, because anything that's really thin, when you try to remove them, they just bend. So just be really careful if you decide to do it that way, and if it bends, just be very patient and bend it back using a pair of tweezers or something. It's malleable and it's forgiving, but if you keep bending it back, it will eventually break. So just be really careful. If you can, just use an X-Acto blade to cut it as close as you can, but you have to cut it pretty close to get it to mount in here properly. You can actually see the actual window frames here pretty nicely, but once you have a piece of tape over it, you simply lay the etch parts in there and then glue them in using CA glue. And when you're done and it's dry, you can remove the tape and you have your windows in. And then you just go from the front side and put in your putty, do your putty work. And when you're done, you'll have a really nice rec deck window. So I've actually done this a couple of times and it turned out really, really good doing it that way. So if you're one of those that's not going to use the photo etch part, you can just use the kit part and paint on these. And you can make it look just as pretty good. The edge parts just add another level of detail. So same with the officer's lounge window. That one, you can use the kit part. You can paint in the frames, and you can make it look pretty good as well. The edge parts, again, just add a little more detail. So you can do it either way, whichever way you feel comfortable with. This way's a little more advanced, but turns out a little bit better. So again, on this build, I was planning to do it with just the kit parts, but Jerry convinced me otherwise, so here we are. So I actually was filling in that last little bit here this morning. So we're making headway here. As soon as this is done, I'm going to glue in the impulse engine and light block the saucer, prep it for wiring. So we are making headway. So when next you see this, we will have the rec deck windows done and the impulse engine in. And we'll see how far along I am with light blocking. So it'll only be a few seconds for you, but probably a day or so for me. So here we go. Okay, I have just finished applying a coat of black primer and then white primer after masking all the way around and masking all of the glue points. So the saucer is light blocked. As you can see, we hold it up to the light and nothing gets through it. We do have a couple of little spots. There's not any way to get everything completely light blocked from the inside, but you just do the best you can. And then you can put a little bit on the outside, in the spots that aren't completely blocked. What I normally do is I'll put all the lights in, turn it on, flip it over, and then take a pencil and just kind of mark where all of the spots are that need to be light blocked, and then I'll spray them with a little bit of black primer and then prime the whole outside. So once that's done, it will be totally light blocked. So I'm going to start putting the lighting in. We're going to do a strip of LED tape at each of the window ports, and we're going to connect them together. They're designed to have wire soldered between links so that you kind of get a series of lights that are connected by positive and negative all the way around. And then I'll also put a section here, here, and here to light up the bottom, which will also light up the top. And I'll also start to, I'll get a light for the bridge and for the we'll start also wiring up the nav lights and strobe light and the and the RCS thrusters. That was the other one. So yeah, we got to get all of those lights put in, all of them wired together, and then I'm going to use an Arduino Nano for the nav and strobe lights. They're very reasonable, and I've got a sketch put together that does the lighting really well. Most of the lighting boards that I've used in the past are really bright, and you want to keep them in scale with this thing. Even though it's 1/350 scale and it's giant, it shouldn't be that bright. You know, the lights didn't look like flashlights. They were really dim, so we want to have something really dim. So I have them at 10% brightness on all of the navs and strobes on the thing. So the Arduino, I was able to have a lot more control over that. So when I start getting some of this wired, I'll come back and show it to you and kind of show you how the plan is coming along. So we will see you then. Okay, welcome back everyone. So I've started putting in the LED tape. I've gotten a couple of sections actually glued down with the adhesive on the back. I'll also use some hot glue over these to keep them from popping up. But as you can see, I've lit where the windows are. And my dog is whining over in the corner, which is really annoying. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, and I'm on the third piece right here. I've gotten it soldered to this side, but I haven't soldered the next set of wires to this side yet. Now, if you look on the LED tape, each of the LEDs is surrounded by a little square with a little corner taken off. The corner is the negative side, or the lack of corner is the negative side. And all you do is you put a dab of solder on each of the terminals, and then you can solder the wires directly to it with no problem. I use this wire wrapping wire that I get from HDA Model Works. It's like $8 for 1,000,000 feet, so it's pretty good stuff. I've been using it all over in my ships. It's much easier to use than magnet wire, and it's really, really, really small. So it's great for tight spaces and things like that. So I'm going to continue going around the saucer, and when we're done with that, we'll move on to the next piece of lighting. So stay tuned. So here we are with all of the LED tape put in around the perimeter of the saucer, and I've actually got a couple of problems here, and they are right here. This piece of LED tape, this section right here is not lit, and this one here is not lit, even though the rest of them are. The rest of the sections are. I've actually never seen that before, so I'm going to have to carefully remove these two lengths and put in new ones. Being careful to solder them in without damaging the saucer or anything. So this is kind of a new thing for me. Usually LED tape doesn't have a problem. It probably got too hot at some point while I was soldering it in. So this one's on really dim, which is sort of weird. But so I will remove these and put in new. Part of building this model is overcoming problems like this when they arise, and believe me, there will be more. There's always something that goes wrong where you try to do something and it doesn't work right. So you just work your way through it and keep on pushing, and eventually you'll make it to the end. So when I come back, I'll have replaced these, and I'll have gotten some more of the LEDs in for the rest of the functions on the saucer. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. The LED tape has been replaced. The segments that weren't working are now working just fine. And I've also installed all of the RCS thrusters on the saucer. So I haven't tacked any of the wiring down for it yet. They've just been put in and hot glued in. I've also hot glued all of the LED tape segments down, especially around where the wires are soldered on, so that they don't pop off at some point. If it's jostled or anything like that, it'll help give it added stability. So as you can see on the outside of the saucer, the RCS thrusters are showing up, though they're a little bit washed out. There needs to be a little bit of light blocking on the outside. It's really difficult to get the light blocking on the inside when you have the walls already on, because you can't get the black paint down in there. So you just do a little bit from the outside. It's no big deal. So we are well on our way. The next part of this is going to be the individual nav lights and the strobe for the bridge. So I'm going to leave that for the next video. So thank you all for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care out there, and happy modeling.